Hello again. It's March 6th, 2018. There is so much going on, and so much of it is so chaotic, random, and almost incomprehensible that I've decided to name today's video blog after what a lot of Americans and a lot of people around the world are thinking right now. So today's New America video blog is called, What the Hell is Going On? This administration is, of course, a vortex of chaos right now. Events are flying at us so quickly that it's difficult to put them into perspective. When we look at each event separately, they each seem like just more ethically questionable behaviors and more shoot-from-the-hip policy decisions by the president. But when we step back and look at the confusion a little bit differently, we can see patterns and purpose in some of these events. In fact, if we divide the craziness into two categories, we can start to see that it's not quite as random as it might seem. On the one side, there's the ongoing Russia investigation that seems to be getting closer and closer to the president, Hope Hicks' mysterious or not so mysterious resignation, and also that of senior economic advisor Gary Cohn, and those leave huge holes in the White House staff, Jared Kushner's problems of being caught in what might end up being some kind of pay-for-play or influence peddling situation, as well as Kushner's loss of his top security clearance when he's supposed to be in charge of the Middle East peace process, and that's not good. And thanks to the president's complete mishandling of foreign policy, an emboldened Russia that thinks it's okay to threaten the United States with its new and supposedly invincible nuclear missiles. So that's just the short version of the current chaos. At the same time, we have two other specific events to think about. First is the president's sudden, unplanned statement that he's going to place punitive tariffs on imported aluminum and steel, purposely starting a trade war because, in his own words, trade wars are good things and easy to win. His own party thinks this is a bad idea, and even when he just mentioned it, the stock market fell dramatically because he still doesn't understand that words coming out of the mouth of the President of the United States have consequences. And the second event is when Trump made a radical change of direction on gun control that took his own staff and his own party by surprise. And you'll notice that his new proposals, like increased background checks, raising the age to purchase some weapons, and limiting the sale of large ammo clips and arming teachers, are all things that seem like gun control without actually controlling any guns. And he went further by saying that he thinks the police should go into the homes of the dangerous people and take their weapons, even if it violates due process. Now here's what I don't get about that. It's bad enough that the President of the United States is advocating violating federal law. But Mr. President, do you not get the fact that the very people who are so afraid that the big bad federal government is going to come into their homes and take their guns are, by and large, the people who voted for you? I mean, it's bad enough to be on the wrong side of every subject, but at least pick a side. Now, it would be easy to lump the tariff statements and the incomprehensible gun control comments all into the same basket with the Russia investigation and Kushner's problems and Hope Hicks and Trump's battles with his own party and his own staff, but that would be a mistake. Even though the tariff and gun control remarks may look like more of him just saying the first thing that comes to his mind or finding some new way to pander to the public at that moment, these statements illustrate a deeper game and show us exactly how he continues to masterfully manipulate the media and the public. I mean, seriously, does anybody actually think that one morning Trump woke up, stopped tweeting long enough to say to himself, hey, I think tariffs on steel and aluminum and a trade war will be good for America? Please. What probably really happened is that one day during his obsessive TV watching, he realized he needed to do something, anything, to create a distraction. As much as no one would want to look as clueless as he does when he makes these kinds of statements, they serve the greater good for him. Look at the news in the last 72 hours. All anybody is talking about is metals tariffs and what the White House position on gun control actually is. It's another distraction, and a very successful distraction, to keep us from focusing on the thoroughly unethical, possibly criminal activities of senior campaign and White House staff, and possibly even of Trump himself. And it's a way of distracting the media from focusing on that subject and on the complete chaos that has enveloped the White House, our relationships with both our allies and our adversaries, and our foreign policy. And let's not kid ourselves. Got a problem, or in Trump's case, got several dozen problems? Then make a bigger problem. Say something outrageous, create a distraction. He's made it work over and over, and he's making it work again. In chapter 16 of A New America, I talk about the personal qualities and skills that we really need in a president. One last thing. After insisting for months that there is no evidence that the Russians meddled in the 2016 election, the most recent position from the White House is that they will do everything they can think of to keep that from happening again in 2018. First of all, the idea of everything these guys can think of causes me a little concern. But worse than that is the question of who benefits if the Russians meddle in another election. In 2016, the only person who benefited was Trump. And if it happens again this year, the only people who will benefit are Trump and congressional Republicans. So, putting the White House in charge of making sure the Russians don't meddle in the 2018 election is a little like putting the fox's best friend in charge of security arrangements at the hen house. And that should concern all of us. Be well. Please share this video. We'll talk again soon.